one. I'll give it back if I die. And then I'll look at it. Oh, you can do that. Do I need to put the one I want to choose? I didn't know I could do that.
Well, then
Good evening, everybody. I have asked my buddy Wes Sarles to give the invocation prior to our meeting tonight. Wes is one of our young game changers, and he's going to be excited about the presentation that's coming in just a little bit from the YMCA. And he is associate pastor at First United Methodist Church of Monroe. I don't know if that's the exact title, but he's also very, very active within G3, and just the kind of man that you want as a leader in our community. And Wes, would you take it away, please?
Sure. Thank you for allowing me to do it. I'm just glad I'm not on the agenda at any point in time. I'm just here to pray. So let's pray. Lord, as we just invite you in this room, allow us to just calm our minds, calm our hearts as we reflect on what you've done in our community this last year. We've seen some immense growth. We have seen some hurt families. We have seen even hurt feelings. Lord, we just continue to thank you for what you're doing, what you're going to do tonight, what you're doing in this community, the things that are going to be talked about tonight. We pray for those that protect us and keep us safe, those that are in this room, those that are on working right now, those police, fire, judicial, elected officials that do their best to lead, guide, and direct this community in the way that you would like it to go. We just invite you in this space tonight. Everything that we say and think and do, glorify you. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Wes. I always like inviting people to give the invocation who really make it look like they've done that before. Thank you, Wes. We call this meeting to order of the City Council of March 9th, 2021. Let the record reflect that all members of the council are present. I need an approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Ross Bradley. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Nathan Little. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Moving to the approval of the consent agenda, which is council minutes from last month, Planning Commission, Historic Preservation, and Downtown Development, so on and so forth. We have the Great American Cleanup that we talked about last week. I put this at each of your seats for the 24th is our Community Cleanup Day. It'll be from, I believe, 9 to 12. Sadie, is that right? From 9 to 12. I do encourage you all to get groups of friends, church groups, youth groups to come out and help beautify Monroe. I'll need a motion for the approval of the consent agenda, please.
So moved.
I'm going to take the Mr. Dickinson on the so move, and on the second, is that Ross? Nathan Little? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Moving to the public presentation, Gary Hobbs, would you like to bring your team forward for the YMCA? Okay, great, Jeff. Come on. Jeff Neufeld lives in the Providence Club, so he's a Monroe guy. He does have a bit of a Yankee accent, though, because he's really not from around here. And he'll introduce his team, and this is, let me tell you, the most exciting development we've had in Monroe in my lifetime. So please proceed.
Yeah, I want to, first of all, say thank you for letting us come today and present the YMCA to you that will be here in Monroe. A couple things we'd like to do tonight. First of all, we want to show you a 5-minute video that will share the vision about the why, and then we're going to have Gary Hobbs come up and share a little bit about why he believes it's important, and also Ben Garrett. And you can see he'll introduce our contingent back in the corner that's here, and also Angie Putnam. So that's what we like to do in our 10/hour time for you. So and then after our little presentation, we'd really love to answer any of the questions that you have. And so thank you for the time.
Thank you for coming, Jeff.
the most important project we've taken on as a community in Walton County in probably 20 years, likely since the Boys and Girls Club was built in the early 2000s.
The initiative originally began in '07, '08. The Rowell family had donated some land, about 17 acres at that time, for the YMCA. And a group of interested community leaders got together. Some surveys were conducted to determine if, in fact, the Walton County community would support this. It was overwhelming that they would. In fact, no one said that they wouldn't. So now the Rowell family came on board and provided a good bit more land to the point of having 38 acres now for the footprint of the YMCA.
We've decided to give the land to the YMCA because I actually grew up in the YMCA over the years and feel that the impact that the Y brings to this community will be beneficial to its citizens as well as the health and wellness of our citizens.
Our children learn to swim at the YMCA, and we want the children of this community to have that same opportunity.
Social Circle City Schools is so excited that the YMCA is coming to our area. This is going to benefit our athletic program for swimming is concerned. Now families will be excited to partake in the many activities that they have there. And this is just a great opportunity for the entire Walton County community.
We looked at the opportunity to partner with the YMCA. We realized that synergies and the missions of both of these organizations were synonymous. Personally, I feel like the YMCA offers something for everybody. I think of children, seniors, families, and I think it provides opportunities not only for the recreational side of it. The main focus from the healthcare and the healthcare foundation is that of providing great opportunity to improve one's health. And I think there are also opportunities to grow people emotionally and spiritually. It's a very holistic place for the family to be.
So Lee and I both raised two children here in Walton County, and while it was an amazing experience and a wonderful place to raise families, we want to be a part of making this a better community and a better place for our kids to raise their families and for our grandchildren.
The economic impact of the new YMCA on Walton County is the fact that it lifts all boats. Everybody in the community will be made the better because of YMCA.
This YMCA is going to help businesses prosper by adding to the already great quality of life we have in Walton County. This is going to be a compliment to already what we experience in living, working in Walton County.
Our campaign goal is $15 million, and we are asking for it from family, friends, businesses, and foundations.
Our school district is excited about the possibility of partnering with the YMCA and becoming an investor, so to speak, in this new YMCA because our swim team will be a facility inside Walton County. That's the biggest stake for us. We're looking forward to possibly working out a long-term partnership with this new YMCA organization so that our swim team well into the future can have a place to practice and compete on a daily basis. I think the new YMCA will be a tremendous asset to Walton County. Families will enjoy going there together, having a safe place to recreate, for kids to learn to swim. We don't have that place now in Walton County. It's going to be a beautiful facility with a lot of amenities and a lot of programs that will complement what we already have in Walton County.
The YMCA will be located directly behind me across from Monroe Area High School.
The location is very convenient. It's in the crossroads of the county at 78, Highway 11, and 138. Easy for Loganville, Social Circle, and Monroe residents to get to. The Walton County Y will work on these 5 strategies for a healthier lifestyle: safe venue and community gathering place, health and wellness, exercise and fitness, education, and recreation and sports.
By acting now, you can change the trajectory of Walton County by making the Y a sustainable part for our future generations.
Our purpose
Our purpose here is
these are going to pull.
Again, we want to thank Mayor Howard and all of you, the city council, for letting us come and update you tonight on the Y. I'm Gary Hobbs, along with my friend Ben Garrett. We're chairing the campaign leadership team for this project. Ben's sitting in the back, and he's going to be up here in just a minute. They picked on 2 retired guys. They figured we had more time than anybody else, and It's taken some time, believe me, so we're glad to do it, though we believe it's a very worthwhile project. Let me introduce who is with us tonight. Ben Garrett is with us. Just raise your hand, everybody back there, in case so everybody will know you. Kirkland Dixon, one of our commissioners, been on board with us since the beginning. Robbie Hooker, the superintendent of Social Circle City Schools, is with us tonight. And Angie Putman, CEO of the YMCA of Georgia's Piedmont. Lee Rowell and Judy, who donated the land for the Y, and without them, I don't know if we'd be here tonight. And then Jeff Newfield, who you already met, who was up here first. Our campaign general co-chairs you saw in the video are Meredith Malcolm and Lee Garrett. You know, it's good to have two bankers raising money for you. It really is. So we're excited that they took on that role. They could not be here tonight. I know Meredith's daughter was in a tennis tournament, and Lee had another meeting. But they send their regards to all of you. I would like to emphasize a couple points. Some were on the video, some were not. First of all, what this Y will do for the community. And, you know, we want to really emphasize the point that this Y is not here to compete with any other programs. We're not doing that. It's not going to be leagues of basketball and touch football and soccer and things like that at the Y. That's not the purpose of the YMCA. So we want to complement the programs going on in Walton County and not compete, and we will do that. We're a county of 100,000 people. We don't have a pool for kids to learn to swim. You know, that's a travesty to me. They built a YMCA down in Waynesboro. They've got 20,000 in the county. They had 500 families join before they opened the door. So that's how important this will be to this community. Over at Winder, they have 7,000 members at their YMCA over there right now. In Barrow County, it's smaller than Walton County. And I'm involved mainly because of children. And I've got a soft spot in my heart for kids, or I wouldn't have been in education for 25 years. But especially our low-income children. The boys and girls at the Boys and Girls Club have no place to learn to swim. They aren't offered that opportunity. And you well know, if you don't learn to swim as a child, you never learn to swim. I haven't seen many adults taking swimming lessons. And so, you know, the children of Walton County deserve a place to learn to swim. And we also have 6 high schools, private and public, in this county that have swim teams, no place to practice or have meets within the county. So I think that's an important aspect of this YMCA. And then I think about the seniors, and I guess I think about the seniors because I am one. You walk into Winder YMCA or any YMCA, you see a lot of seniors there. Many of them have lost their spouse, but it's a place they come together to connect. You see them sitting there drinking coffee or in the workout room together. And those of us that have toured the Y, and we want to offer that opportunity to any of you to go to Winder with us and tour the Y over there, because I was blown away when I first went over there. I never had any idea that the Y did so many things. But the seniors, I think, and there's more and more of the baby boomers now, and it's going to be a great place for the seniors. The Y is a family place, too, and I know the Boys and Girls Club is a great place to go for children, but the Y serves the whole family. And I think about the moms who are trapped at home with kids, especially this last year. Hopefully things will get better with this COVID thing, but we will be able to have child care at this YMCA where moms can come out, bring their kids, exercise for a couple hours, work out in the pool, and have somebody certified that watches their kids. I think this is an important part of it as well. Summer day camps will be an important part of the YMCA where children can come for different kind of camps in the summer. And, you know, I think that's an important thing where they learn so much about working with other kids and doing things. And let's talk about the economic impact. People don't think about that. We're looking at 8 full-time jobs in this YMCA and 75 to 100 part-time jobs, and especially for young people, lifeguard jobs, day camp supervision, all of those in the summer. And a lot of our kids don't have places to get summer jobs. I think it'll be a great place for them as well. And then I want to talk about the economic impact of swim meets. And I don't know if you've ever been to a high school swim meet. My granddaughter swam for Loganville Middle School. I went to Gainesville to the first swim meet I'd ever been to, you know, recently. We went in, there were hundreds of people there. We went in and she swam for 2 minutes. Her next event was 2 hours later. What do we do for 2 hours? We go eat lunch. We go walk around in stores, especially for Monroe, even though this is a Walton County Y, great opportunity for our business owners in downtown Monroe, and it will bring a lot of people into Monroe, these swim meets that our high schools will be holding there. The pool will be a meet-certified 8-lane pool with an additional pool for aerobics and working out for older people and those kinds of things. The older people like warmer water, so the additional pool will be next to the 8-lane pool. So with that, I want to call on Ben Garrett, my co-chair, to come up and say a word or two about the Healthcare Foundation and their role in the YMCA. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary, and thank y'all for letting us be here this evening. Gary mentioned that we were both retired. I'm officially employed, so I do have a job. But it is a great job. It's with the Walton County Healthcare Foundation. And when I first started learning more about the why, we realized quickly the synergies between the Healthcare Foundation and this initiative. So we partnered and we have committed the foundation, the Healthcare Foundation, which belongs to the citizens of Walton County, we've committed to build an auditorium. We just feel like all the things that are going on there, and like Gary said, a trip to the Winder, why, sort of explains everything. I grew up in Cedartown, Georgia, and never heard or even knew about a Y. But when you go to a Y, like the one in Winder, and Angie and them do a great job, it's incredible. I was really just taken aback by what all they do. And it's seniors, it's kids, and everything. But we feel like, we being the Healthcare Foundation, feel like this is just a great, great opportunity for Walton County. So thank y'all for your time.
Thank you, Ben. Let me, while Gary comes back up, I'm probably going to have some more questions for him, but if you take a look at this team who's been put together for the fundraising part, Gary's former school superintendent for Walton County, had our schools performing at their best level ever until he handed it off to Nathan, who's now taking it to new heights, and we're very appreciative of that. Ben is former president of the National Bank of Walton County. I don't know if you were still president when it switched over to Synovus, but the economic development of impact of just those two has moved Monroe light years ahead of where we had ever previously been and set us on a course for where we're heading. I do hope you'll take the opportunity to tour the Y and Winder. It is fantastic. And Angie Putman, who's here, has been with the Y for most of her adult life. She has just put an outstanding program together there. Not only is the cleanliness of the Y, the families who get involved, and the relationships that are built. And then, of course, we couldn't do it without Lee and Judy's generous donation. And frankly, Lee and Judy's push, because they started this on the original team in 2005. Is that correct, Lee? And they were offering swim lessons at the development out next to the high school. So they have been drivers of this for a long time. And then Kirkland's probably one of the best things who's ever happened to this community, with the exception of his wife Denise. So it's a great team. And I hope you'll take every opportunity to, number one, to visit that Y and Winder. Number two, to help us mold the direction of where this Y is going to go and how it's going to serve the families of Monroe and Walton County. And I'm going to let you start whatever else you want to say before they start asking questions.
Okay, just a couple little things. First of all, we can name this Y after any one of you if you've got your checkbook. We do have some naming opportunities at the Y, but I do want to announce to you tonight, of the 15 million goal, we have 5.3 right now. Right. And we haven't really started with our calling on, we've started some of the higher level people that we know want to be involved in this, but we are well on our way with the Healthcare Foundation providing the pool, and with the Rowell family providing 38 acres. We're way, way ahead of where most YMCAs even start when they begin, but that's exciting, and things are really beginning to fall in place. I do want to comment on what Mayor Howard said about our team. We've got all the mayors of all 3 cities involved in the leadership. The county commissioners, we've met with all of them. They're all very excited about this. And Kirkland has just been amazing. He's been with us since the very beginning, and he and I made a trip over to the Y together, and he was like me. He was just blown away when he went over there. But any questions you have, we'd love to try to answer those tonight, and we'll be glad to do that now.
What kind of timeline are we looking at?
Okay, good. That's a great one. In fact, I wanted to mention that. We have sent the request for proposal out to architectural firms already. That closes in about 2 weeks. We've got a number of firms interested, obviously. And we hope, if the campaign goes like we're anticipating, to end the fundraising campaign this summer, kind of June, July timeframe. And then if we have the plans ready, we'll hire the general contractor and break ground before the end of the year, or at the latest first quarter of next year. And the way we're doing this, we're asking for pledges, and a lot of people want to give money to the Y, but they don't have all the money in 1 year, so they're doing a 5-year pledge, and the Y will invoice them for that. And of course, some donors are just going ahead and making a large donation at one time. So that's kind of how we're working it. So we're looking at the first quarter of next year, breaking ground, and then it'll probably take 10 months.
Does it have to be 100% fundraised before you start, or is it?
Does not. The YMCA of Georgia's Piedmont Board has underwritten this project, and Angie put me on the board. I guess she wants somebody to help her plead our case. But when the campaign's over, we'll have our pledges and the money that we have in the bank at that time, and we'll go to that board and ask them to underwrite a loan that will be then paid off by those pledges over the next 5 years. And that's kind of the way it'll work. So, you know, the pledges are money, so to speak, when it comes to that. And we got a number of bankers on our committee, and they've all said this is a very good loan for a bank to especially with the 38 acres of prime land that we have, that we're building it on. So,
how much of the 38 acres is being used initially? And then are there plans for future expansion?
well, the architects, of course, will, when they do their plan, will determine, of course, you got to have retention ponds and different things. We got a number of outside fields in our planning. We got a walking track. There's a new assisted living facility coming over in front of Monroe High School that will be backed right up to the Y. We anticipate a lot of those folks will enjoy that. But we don't exactly know until we get our architects hired and they do a site plan and get everything placed on it. But we do know the building will be there at the little crossroads from Charlotte Rowell over to the board office. It'll be right there on the front, and then the fields will be, of course, behind that.
Thanks.
Anything else?
I want to say thank you. I grew up at the Y2 in Covington, so I'm excited this is coming.
Great. Thank you very much.
If you don't mind, explain about the relationship with Boys and Girls Club and teaching kids to swim.
Okay, at Winder, they bring the Boys and Girls Clubs over in the summer and work with those kids on swimming and drown proofing, and we plan to do the same here. We plan to teach every kid to swim that we can possibly get to go into that pool, and there'll be no cost to them. There's scholarship programs that the Y does, and the Y doesn't turn anybody down, and you know, if people can't afford the membership, they work with them and scholarship a lot of them and do things. And of course, a lot of firms have already told us, we're not going to give you a lot of money up front, but we're going to really help you with scholarships after this starts. So we don't anticipate that'll be a problem at all. And I know we got the question at Social Circle City Council the other night, if they don't have a Boys and Girls Club down there, what about their kids? And I told them we guarantee them a way to get those kids up here and teach them to swim if their parents want that.
Great. Jeff said the other day, he said, you know, the goal was 15.5, right?
15 million.
15 million. He said his personal goal is 20 million. That gives us a $5 million endowment to handle those future scholarships and participants. So, again, we're really appreciative of your going out on a limb for us.
Hey, it's fun, and it'll be exciting to break ground, and all of you get an invitation and get a tour, I hope, soon. So thank you so much.
You got it. Thank you.
Since I'm the fundraiser, I need to do the ask. So we're talking with all of the cities, and he said, and the county, and so we're asking all of the cities to be involved financially also. And so we'd love to come back and talk to you a little bit more about that, whether it's We've asked Loganville and Social Circle, and they're very much in discussion about that, and so we're asking you and also the county to be involved with this from a financial standpoint. And so we believe it's that important, and we believe that all public, the public-private partnership in it. So that's one of the reasons why we're here tonight, for you to start a discussion, and we'd love to come back and talk to you a little bit more about it when it's appropriate.
Great, Jeff, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, everybody, and we don't expect you to stick around and watch how the sausage is made, but you're more than welcome if you so desire. Debbie, did we have anybody for public comment? Okay, moving to new business, we have an application of beer and wine package sales and spirituous liquors and beer and wine on-premise consumption at the Row. Daniel South is the applicant. Mr. Rosenthal's application in order.
Yes, Mayor, that application is in order.
Is the applicant here? Lindsay, anything you would like to add? We're excited. How about this? Adding a date that we might be able to come. So May 1st it is.
Tell them whenever you pull that open sign.
All right, we're excited about it. I will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Dickinson, and I believe that's a second from Mr. Bradley?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ross Bradley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries, that passes. Thank you, quick and painless. Second reading, offenses and miscellaneous provisions, possession of marijuana ordinance amendment. Mr. Rosenthal?
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 62 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Monroe, Georgia regarding the city's offenses and miscellaneous provisions for other purposes. The mayor and the council of the City of Monroe hereby ordain as follows. Article 1, Chapter 62, Article 1, Section 62.3 of the Code of Ordinances is hereby amended by adding the following section in its entirety. Section 62.3, possession of marijuana. It shall be unlawful for any person to possess 1 ounce or less of marijuana within the corporate limits of the City of Monroe. Any person found guilty of violating this section shall be subject to the penalties provided in Section 111, provided that any defendant charged with possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana shall be entitled, on request, to have the case against such defendant transferred to the court having general misdemeanor jurisdiction in the county wherein the alleged offense occurred. Article 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with are hereby repealed. Article 3, this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council of the City of Monroe. This constitutes the second reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal. Are there any questions for Paul? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Ross Bradley to approve. A second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Malcolm. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries, that passes. Moving to the modified development agreement with MAB American et al. Is Mr. Argo here? Hey, John. Sorry, I didn't recognize you. You'd like to come up? Before we go into the development agreement portion, you want to give us an update of what's happening?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. John Argo with MAB. We've been a long, I guess, winding road to get to this point, trying to now catch the paper up with the construction. I hope most of you have had a chance to drive by. We've got all kind of paving going on right now, and we have walls coming up on Publix, on Ross and Marshalls. It's going to be a full year of construction, and then a lot of grand openings, a lot of ribbon cuttings for everybody. Thank goodness come first quarter of next year. So lots to look forward to and a great year ahead. I just want to say how much we appreciate the support of City Council, City staff, Lee and Paul and Brian and Rodney and Tommy and Logan and on, the mayor and so forth. There's a lot of efforts gone into, and they had mentioned public-private partnership. It certainly is that. There's so much infrastructure associated with the project in this development agreement. It's kind of a comprehensive program to carry that out, so we appreciate that. I did have occasion earlier this evening to walk through downtown. I ate at Butcher Block, which I always enjoy the meeting too there, but it's a great reminder, and then the YMCA is a great reminder of why we're here in Monroe. There's great things going on, great indicators of prosperity, and it's why we're here, and it's why the retailers and new businesses coming to town. So I commend you for creating a great business platform that's attracting investment, and we're just very pleased to be part of the community. Mayor, I'd mentioned to you, we're progressing with plans for having, I think we're going to call it maybe a midway ceremony to get everybody out on site here, probably late April, early May, get some, hopefully some continuation of this pretty spring weather, and have a little ceremony out there, photo op, some food, and just kind of celebrate what's going on and what's ahead of us.
Public subs?
That too. So we'll have some of the retailers out there present to kind of mingle and visit, and you'll hear from them and kind of their own words why they're so excited about Monroe. So, but again, I appreciate you allowing me to speak very
Well,
briefly.
thank you, John. Before I move to Logan, are there any questions? We're good. Logan?
Thank you, Mayor. As discussed last week, this is the end of that long winding road, we do believe. I think we have modified this agreement, in particular Section B, subsection I, which relates to some of the water lines, and I think we're all of full understanding of how our interconnectedness is going to work out, and that was the main gist for having to modify this agreement. And also in Section N, where we downsized the line from a 20-inch to an 18-inch, that'll be what's termed the Southern Connection Water Line, of which MAB is a good partner in that construction of this water line to serve the project and that whole area on the Charlotte Rail Boulevard area. So with all that said, this is the final little amendment here, and we're ready to continue moving forward with construction on both ends, publicly and privately, and sew this up. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take those.
Are there any questions for Mr. Probst? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
We'll give the motion to Mr. Dickinson and the second to Ms. Malcolm. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries, that passes. Moving to the supplemental capital improvement fund request outside of city fiber funding, I have Mr. Thompson and Mr. Probst. Who wants it?
Sure. I'll just take it from here, Mr. Mayor. Brian, feel free to jump in at any point, but over the last few weeks, we've been discussing the need for some additional capital improvement funds, utility funds, to allow us to easily drop fiber extensions off of our current system outside of city limits. I know that inside, outside comes up a lot, but we have fiber pretty much all over the place, all around Walton County and even in some other counties. So if the return on investment is easily made, we're looking at 24 to 36 months, and it's a short shot, and we don't have to spend a lot of capital to get there. We just want to be able to easily serve the public with additional fiber where we can do it in an affordable format. So we don't anticipate needing the full amount of $750,000, but it'd be nice if it were there so that we can just plug and play as projects come up. Recently, we've had a couple new neighborhoods pop up that are right at our fiber, and then, we've had to figure out ways to come back and make those work within existing funding, and that funding runs out pretty quickly when, you try to make the project work in a short amount of time. So, Mr. Thompson, you can
It's
jump in.
been pretty easy to figure this out since we've started our project inside. It's become sort of a cookie cutter deal as we go to neighborhood by neighborhood by neighborhood designing these. And Logan and I were talking, I said, there's so many that are right outside city limits that could bring revenue into the city. The first two we've looked at are probably 20-month ROI. I get a call, at least one call a day from someone in Walton County that's looking for broadband in an area. And not having an answer for them is problematic. I had one today, and Logan and I looked at it, and it is within half a mile of our fiber. We go up and feed Walker Park School, which was funded, the run was funded by the Board of Education. So when we built those fibers back in when that school was built, we didn't just build 2 fibers for that school. We built 48 count fiber all the way up there. So each one of those 48 fibers, once you feed one of the Adtran boxes that we
that we're using is capable of feeding up to 2,780-something homes. If the homes are there and then the ROI is there. So, and like Logan said, we've got fiber in Gwinnett, Walton, Oconee, Morgan, and a little bit of Rockdale in the network we ran for Walton EMC or along with Walton EMC. So there's opportunities out there where Comcast will not serve, where Windstream can't or will not serve. And while we're doing this in Monroe, let's just pick up these easy ones that brings more revenue back to our citizens, that allows us to expand our network even more. It's easy money. It's roll off a log money.
Thank you,
Take
Brian.
any questions?
Any questions?
I guess my question would, or request would be that as these targeted areas come up, if we could maybe get a monthly update on the areas and then the delivery timeline for those areas, would that be feasible?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm sure we're going to try to be capturing as many customers as possible too, when
That's right.
deployed, so.
Everything we're looking at right now we're looking at two right now. One is a brand-new subdivision, but one is a subdivision right across from Twin Oaks, which is a lot of people that for some reason was not served back at one of our cable plant. It's about 65 homes, and it's about $50K to put it in there. Well, $50K for the labor to put it in. That is the cost, is the labor, when you have an existing subdivision. But the ROI on that with 60% penetration is less than 2 years. So that's a real quick turnaround on that stuff. With these projects, as with all the projects that we're doing, we're ordering material in big truckloads. And it's just, you'll see, once they start showing up, you'll start seeing some progress. Once we've got fiber, we've got conduit, we're just waiting on boxes and distribution taps. And once those start rolling in the gate, you'll start seeing some progress throughout town.
Well, it's just so important today with so many people working from home, and fiber is imperative to many of these, employers whose employees are working and they need this. And as a realtor, we need to be able to, make note of that and be able to inform people, because it can make a difference in whether they buy a house in a certain area or not, for sure.
It's about a year ago tonight that we saw our absolute need for broadband.
Sure.
It was about a year ago tonight that we saw our absolute need really kick
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
So I'll entertain a motion.
I just want to say, I'm very supportive of this idea of going outside of city limits. I want to encourage, though, that we meet the needs of everybody inside the city limits first before we go outside. We've got serious needs inside the city that we need to get fiber running.
Well, the only subdivision inside the city limits that is not served by any broadband from us is the last subdivision on the end of Michael Etchison. Those materials are ordered. We already have bids on the construction. As soon as that shows up, we're gonna knock that one out.
I was thinking about just the full fiber installed within the city.
That'll be, Mr. Bradley, that'll be 2.5, 3 years if we started and had everything today.
But to answer your question, no, this is not going to impede that project.
It's not gonna impede, no, sir, no, sir.
No, and in fact, this doesn't happen all the time. It's just one of these little asks comes up every so often, every couple months. And if it's easy and it doesn't take a lot of staff time or a lot of other,
A lot of the material is the big one.
then we'll just do it. It makes sense to serve the public in that way.
But we know, sir, I think to answer your real question, we will not be pulling material out of the downtown or the town.
No, I just don't want to
project
slow
serve
up
this.
the
No, sir.
project,
No, sir.
inside the city.
No, sir.
I got a question as far as some of these places that we're hitting that are more rural. Apparently, the Windstream and those kind of folks won't go to. I know that there's initiatives where they're trying to make sure that kids have internet access, especially because of COVID and that kind of thing. So I was just wondering, have you looked into any kind of grant funding or anything for that to maybe even help, kind of?
Brian, you want it?
I'll answer that grant funding the best I can. A lot of the big LECs, which are the local exchange carriers, there's RDOF funding, which is state and federal funding. There is the stuff that the governor's doing right now, which is pretty much going to all EMCs. It's already been locked down, $20 million. $20 million is not a lot of money for the whole state of Georgia. You will spend more money in grant management, engineering, doing a federal project. I've had friends and colleagues in this business who have done federal projects and have said, I'll never do another one. I've got a buddy doing one with Carroll EMC, and it's a $55 million project. They spent 3.5 years getting $12 million of the federal funds for that, where they said they just wish they'd have just borrowed it. Because there are grants, but they're troublesome.
Yeah.
And Ms. Thompson would probably shoot me if I got a federal grant.
The good news is
She would have to manage the finance side of it.
the good news is we have that, about $12 million banked from the bond issue that is ready to go. And so that's what Brian's doing right now, is spinning that up into a couple of the neighborhoods in town right away. And then we're just going to keep going from there. If we have to contract out some more, we'll do so. But as much as we can do with our own crews, we're going to do it to save that dollar, stretch it a little bit more.
We actually have there's a technology we're using from Corning. They're going to release a product to us at the end of the month that allows us to in-house engineer. They're giving us the software if we use their product. And that's going to save us about $1 million on the overhead portion of our construction in town. And once they release that, it's supposed to be the 23rd of March. Once they release that to us, it will really speed up this process. Justin Milligan and David Garcia and myself met with them about 2 weeks ago, and they alerted us that this was coming, and we were like, well, let's just wait on that. I don't need the training on the old stuff. Give me the new stuff, because it's much easier.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Thompson? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Ross Bradley to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Tyler Gregory. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Logan. Thank you, Brian. Moving to the modified agreement for the parking lot use at West Highland from Mr. Murray for a 5-year extension. Mr. Probst.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, we were able to seal the deal with Mr. Murray, who graciously extended that 5-year deal on the West Highland parking lot. I want to thank Sadie for running point on that and getting that done at the last minute on Friday, so that as part of the consent agenda, that bid can be approved, and Mr. Steele's already on it with the contractor to get that thing going as soon as they can mobilize. But all in all, yes, that agreement has been signed, and DDA is good with it, so we just need your blessing tonight to move forward.
And how long will the parking lot be down?
What was their timeline, Jeremiah? It's pretty quick. Yeah.
That's good.
2 weeks.
Supposed to be. Weather
permitting.
Partial time, like when they're doing the retaining wall, the street side will be open. When they're doing the asphalt, one side of it can be open and the other side, vice versa.
Good, thank you. Are there any questions for Jeremiah or Logan? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Gregory to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Malcolm. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, like sign. Motion carries, that passes. We'll forego the mayor's update, and I need a motion to adjourn to executive session, please.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Malcolm, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gregory. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries, that passes. We'll adjourn to executive session. Thank you, everybody.